And I'm one of those people that I had to learn how to do confirmation calls, because if I tell you that, hey, I'm going to be somewhere Friday at 6:30 p.m., unless I'm going to the hospital or I'm dead, I'll be there. I don't, it's very rare in my life, and it's been like this for decades, that something just comes up. And I was discussing with a friend, female friend, and she says something that just kind of blew my mind. And this was years and years ago, because it still stands out, that she would not put her clothes on or prepare for the date until she got a confirmation call. I don't really have a lot of things that come up. I think people have the options like, I don't want to hang out with your ass, which is a form of not being able to keep small commitments, in my opinion. Well, she told me that, and I said, why? It was like, because you never know. And I remember, regardless, I always got dressed. And back in the day, you go out and get your hair cut. You go wash your car at the car wash, or, when I was at Fort Mac, everybody would be up on the quad, music playing, everyone's washing their car, putting Armor All on the tires. And I always prepared, no matter what. And, there was times I was disappointed. But are you really prepared to be successful? When I say prepared, I'm not talking about the financial aspects. I'm talking mental, straight up mental. I'll give you an example. When I was working a job, because you don't know the story about how I got into my first contract office business, but I was working my last contract office furniture job. And there was this client I was wooing. Big client, big client. Finally secured an appointment. Had a really tight presentation. Stayed up all night, like walking through it, because I tend to walk and talk. Just going through this. And then this yard bird on the 11th hour cancels the appointment. And when I say the 11th hour, I am in the lobby when he cancels. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, well, I am here. Oh, and he's like, I am sorry. I apologize profusely and blah, blah. I was like, dude. And I'm like a top, one of those old-time toy tops where you wind it. I'm so wound up. And I sit there, and I've got this presentation. And it needs to come out. So, and just to let you know, I take a lot of chances in life. Some of the stuff that I have done, and I look back and I'm like, that worked out, surprisingly enough. Was in the lobby, and there was this lady, and her name's Diana. And I said, look, I know it's going to sound really strange, but I worked all night for this presentation, and the guy cancels on me, and I really would like to present to you, if you have the time. Crazy, right? I know. And she's like, okay. So, introduce myself, go up to her office, and, she brings in some people. And we go to the boardroom, and I give them the presentation and everything. And, and they critique me and grade me, which I was really grateful for. And it's like, we don't really have a need for your products, but we like your presentation. And, if you can make it a little shorter, this. And I was real grateful for it, because I got it out of my system, because it was like, it was just like, I wanted to do it. And it wasn't happening. I was like, it's got to come out. It's got to come out. So that ends, I feel better. I had a 3 o'clock appointment. I went to that one, nailed it. And it was just like, for many people, and I actually told one of the guys in the office what I did, and he said, that's just a total waste of time. Total waste of time. You're presenting to people, they're not qualified, they're not targets. He was kind of like, he kind of ran up at me a little bit, and I was like, well, I felt it was a good thing, because I got the presentation out, learned some stuff, and I made some new friends. That's how I looked at it, right? Well, we go on and go on and go on. I actually depart that company. Well, about a year later, I'm talking, this is my second month as my own, hanging up my own shingle, having my own contract office furniture business. I get an email from Diana. And she's like, hey, I'm in a new position, and we need some office furniture. So could you come on by and, show us what you have? And, it was like, I was like happy and alarmed at the same time, because I didn't have the offerings, because, just so you know, when you're selling any kind of big line, sometimes there's protected territories, and there's maybe someone already selling it and you can't sell it, and if you want to sell that line and they need that line, you may have to partner with them, or they may just get it and knock your ass out. So I went to talk to her, and it was scary how things worked out. I mean, it was just insane how things worked out. I get to the office, and it's like much nicer digs. I go in there and I meet her, and Diana just comes up. She gives me this big hug. Hey, guy, how are you doing? Good to see you. It's been so long. So we go in the conference room, and I was like, I'm still a salesperson. I was like, so what do you need? What's the scope of the project? We do this, and she told me, and I was like, oh, okay. It was a telemarketing center, and she's like, well, we looked at remanufactured, and we don't want it because we want our color scheme to be so. I said, okay, that's fine. And I drew, and I had one guy that was working with me with a larger company, and I called him up and I said, just run me some quick numbers, gave him the dimensions, everything. And this was really cool about relationships, because he was in a position where he was able to get me that quote, knock out the stuff, and he just emailed it to me, and I showed it to him, and they was like, okay, done deal. She shakes my hand. A few days later, I have a deposit check for $75,000. Total meeting lasted maybe an hour. Blew me away. Totally blew me away. It was a $150,000 job with a 48% margin. I mean, that made my freaking year. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't take a chance. Now, while I'm giving you this video, because there are some people, oh, it's just self-aggrandizing. I'm going to say something real quick. If me saying I did something successful makes you feel like shit, you ain't shit, and you never will be shit, because you are a loser. Because happy people, positive people cheer on other people. They root for people. When I watch The Price is Right, I'm sitting there hoping that they win. I feel good when they win. A lot of you out there are cowards and haters, because if someone does something and don't present it to you in a way that doesn't hurt your self-esteem and doesn't make you feel bad about yourself because you are a loser little bitch, then you go ape shit. You just like, oh, I can't watch that. And the reason is because it's hitting some tender spots. It's stabbing that underbelly of yours that says coward. But anywho, the deal is you have to get out there and prepare. Take some chances. Mentally, you have to actually see this thing happening before it happens. And for some people, that becomes really hard. It's just like that immediate gratification demon is really strong in a lot of people. That they feel that if there is no I do X, then the yield is Z, a reward, then it's pointless to do. Kind of about like the guy in the office that just said, it was a total waste of time. It was a total waste of time for him. It was extremely profitable for me. That kept me from going under. And this is something else that I really want you to think about. When you're trying to be successful, the work that you do today is frequently how you will get paid tomorrow. And if you ain't doing shit today, you're not going to get shit tomorrow. And that throws people. It really, really throws people. Because I think the title of Harvey McKay's book, Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty, is freaking awesome. I mean, when times are good, you need to do these things. You need to get out there and start preparing. But mentally, you have to go into it each and every time as if you're going to win. Even if you don't win, you have to have that kind of belief in yourself. And you just keep going and keep going. Because, whoa, it's been a while since I've been over here. There used to be a hotel over there. It's gone. I mean, it's completely gone. Anyway, I'm distracted. I'm back. When you are prepping for success, really, really prepping for success, 90% of the work takes place between your ears. 90% of the work. When I'm in the gym and I'm turning into a little weak bitch, I have to start saying my mantra: condition the mind, condition the body. Because see, the mind's going to give out before the body does. Every time. You can always do more. You can always do more. And the mind's just like, yeah, that's good enough. And the body's like, ha ha, gotcha, sucker. But seriously, to prepare for success, you have to really, really know what you want first. That's one of the biggest things to this whole deal. You have to have some type of objective, an agenda, a goal, something. You have to kind of know where you're going. Because, you know, if you're one of those nomads that thinks life is a journey, because it really is, and you are cool with just meandering over here like a butterfly or a hummingbird, just here and there, that's cool. But if you really want to shorten that line from where you are to where you want to be, a plan, preparing, and standing up. You know, a really common example of this, and, you know, a lot of women hate this, is guys are afraid to approach. They will look, they will stare, but they will not approach. And yes, the world has changed, but we are in a world where evolution and social engineering has not caught up. That's all I'm going to say on that. But with preparing for your success, you have to dress for it. There's numerous studies indicating that if you get up and you're in a profession where you wear a suit and a tie, you put your shirt and tie on, you're going to be at a level where you're just going to be more effective. You're going to feel, you're going to get in that vibe. You're going to get in that flow. And some people need that uniform because it turns on that thing in them that makes them really successful. That thing that makes them tick. That it gives them more power. Everybody can use more power. So when you're preparing for success, I want you to think about, what do you want? What do you really want? Because that's a lot of people who are waiting for permission to be successful. They're waiting for someone to say, hey, okay, you could be successful. I'll give you another one, like writers. I mean, a lot of them write, publish, and just kind of wait. You can't wait. You have to go out and get it. You have to go to the tree, shake it hard, and let the apples drop. If you just look at the tree, you know, or you go for the fruit that's already in the ground, Stan, you don't get there quick. There's worms in that stuff, man. The best fruit is the stuff that's still in the tree. You got to shake it. You got to be prepared to shake it. So number one tip that I can give you in being prepared is learn to accept loss. Because this is one of the reasons that most people will not be prepared. Because they don't want to amp up for potential failure or disappointment. It's like, I am so disappointed. Oh, I can't deal with it. Oh, his life is so hard. Oh, it's so rough. I am such a weak little bitch. I mean, that cracks me up. I think that growing up extremely poor is one of the best benefits a person can have. And I know you're going like, what? I think it is, because you know how bad it can be, and you also know that you won't die. If you are born into wealth or a very cozy lifestyle, and then things go sideways, I've seen people off themselves, kill themselves, go into depression, become alcoholics or addicts because they cannot deal with the radical shift in circumstances. I mean, you know, just to put it bluntly, there's a whole class of people that when the recession hit, their life didn't really change one way or another. They were used to barely making it or just struggling or actually being ass out. Then there was a new class of folks that joined them that was like, what the fuck is poor? Whoa, what do you mean I can't have all 195 channels of cable and only watch 4? I want my 195. I mean, seriously, it's a perspective, you know? It's a perspective of what's going on in your mind and what you deem to be important. But with our world today, I want you to prepare for success. I want you to chase your dreams, because we are entering into, depending upon your mental orientation, one of the best periods of time ever. With technology, I mean, there are 3D printers that are creating living tissue. I mean, how fucking awesome is that? I mean, we're gonna see people walking around with bionic legs, like the $6 Million Man when I was growing up as a kid, and the bionic woman, and we're gonna see that. You're going to see someone in the street and you're going to hear servo mechanisms and gyros moving because they're walking on a bionic leg. We're going to see that in our lifetime. This is great times to be alive and wanting to do something because of the things that are coming our way. But if you are weak of mind, lacking in courage, and are just waiting for someone to bless you with some magic jelly beans, it's going to be daunting for you. Your life's going to be fucked because you're making the wrong choices. Everything's a choice. Everything's a choice. But you're making the wrong choices if you choose to accept failure, and that's the final act. Because, yeah, you're going to fail. Then you get up. You're going to fail, get up. You're going to fail, then you get up. You're going to fail, then you get up. That's the process, because that's what happens in sales. You get more rejection in a good year of sales if you're really chasing hard than maybe the average person will get in a lifetime. And if you will look at the organization tree of a lot of companies, frequently the guys in the upper ranks started off as salespeople. Frequently started off as salespeople because they got used to dealing with adversity on a daily basis. And when you build up your adversity muscles, you can handle more shit. You can handle crazy stuff. You don't freak out when things go sideways. And that's why you can have your reservoir of hope always full, because you have to. I mean, I used to have to give myself a pep talk every freaking day, because there is nothing that you could tell me that no one's going to be impacted, that when you get up and you go out and you talk to 10 people or 12 people in a day and they all say no, that does not mess with your mind. You're like, damn, am I that bad? And then next day, you got to do it again. And the next day, you got to do it again. And the next day, you got to do it again. And at some point, it doesn't phase you as much as it did in the beginning. Because I will be honest with you, those first few months had me doubting myself. I'm like, damn, maybe I need to do something else. And it's a process. That's how success works. It's a process, because when you're doubting yourself, that means that you're actually in the area where you can grow. If you're not doubting yourself, if you're not making mistakes, if you're not failing, you're not pushing hard enough. If everything's working out and it's all cozy, yeah, you're actually coasting. You're not even digging into your potential, because success and the accumulations of success come hard. They come from a lot of effort. They come from a lot of sacrifice. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and I'm doing the informational thing, how to make a living without a job. But I'm going to tell you, there's work involved. I'm not going to give you the 4-hour work week. I read the book. I like a lot of it. But realistically, in the beginning, before he got to the 4-hour work week, he had 60 to 90-hour work weeks. Because that's the magic ingredient that people don't talk about, because there seems to be this aversion to work, to really putting out, to really just saying, you know what, I'm going to grab my nuts and I'm going in. And they're like, no, I'm not grabbing these nuts. Nope. I'm just going to sit here in this chair and hope and pray for something better to come into my life. It's not. And there's something else that's happening too. This great world that we live in, and I'm going to say it, there's a lot of people right now who are saying America isn't shit. And I think all of those people are entitled to their opinion, and they're misguided and foolish. Nowhere else on the planet can you do the things that you can do here. Nowhere else. Give you more perspective. Our poor people, and I'm talking about the people in the ghettos, I'm talking about the people who are living in extremely bad neighborhoods. Those people are better off than 80% of the rest of the world. Those people in the ghettos, gunfire, drug sales, prostitute, living in those environments are better than 80% of the people in the rest of the world. Because you have people who are living in a city where they may wake up and they may experience a missile in their living room. They may get on a bus, and the next thing you know, the back of the bus is gone because a suicide bomber got on it. That's what they live with. There's some places in the United States that are close to a war zone, but not like that. Not like that. You know, there's places right now, there's somebody that's getting blown up because of conflict. And you don't have to deal with that. You got up this morning. What is this? There's just ducks everywhere. You got up this morning and pretty much put your feet on the floor, had breakfast if you eat breakfast, had your coffee, got in your car. If you have a job, you went to it. You're sitting at your desk or you're out in the field or you're doing whatever you're doing. And pretty much your life went as planned. And if you're bitching about it, you're an ungrateful bastard. Pretty much. Because you have it good compared to most of the people in the world. And I'm talking billions. Talking billions. There are people who are catching hell right now. So if you're not prepared to be successful, if you're not making those choices, it's on you. It's not the world. It's not the government. It's not the economy. It's you. And just like you can make the choice not to prepare, you can make the choice to become prepared, to set yourself up for success, to create a better life for you and your family. That's a choice. That is a choice that you can make today. All right, this is Glendon Cameron, and I will see you on the good side.